Ooh, pencil. This would be Wednesday, November 1st. We are done with October, and I'm back, and everything is good. Let's see, Camp to Come Some Money and order forms. If you have those, get them turned in to me. It's not officially due until March, so you have time, but the sooner we get them, the better off we'll be. Your book report book, I'm going to need to see it by Friday. If you don't have it by Friday, then I get to charge you points, so it's fine. We'll bring it in. Charge your challenge is going to be today after school, and so I'll send that information tonight. And then the homework, our poetry homework. That's not poetry, that's charge your challenge. Poetry homework. Make sure you get a chance to download this. It'll connect to Friday's quiz. There's 3 options on it again. Questions, and then you're going to have the little letter phrase thing, and then the taping in of the quiz. And eventually, as we get to like the second homework, we'll try to work in something else with it, maybe another new 4th option that connects to poetry, and we'll see what we can do with you from there. Not due till next week, but does connect to our quiz on Friday. With our poem, The Caterpillar, which was about a caterpillar. So we got through like the first stanza and a half or something like that. Speaking of which, well, once again, what is a stanza?
Paragraph.
Paragraph in the poem. How do we know where a stanza ends?
The big gap. The big gap.
How many stanzas in this poem?
6.
We have the first stanza, which says, kids who still have things on their desk have lost so many points, it's hard to keep track, it's raining down. Sorry, I get confused with poetry. Under this loop of honeysuckle, a creeping colored caterpillar, I gnaw the fresh green hawthorn spray. I nibble it leaf by leaf away. Why do I highlight this particular line? It's an example of
Alliteration.
Alliteration, which we're going to have a whole bunch of as we go through the poem. There's like a chocolate chip cookie full of alliteration. Ooh, chocolate chip cookie is an example of alliteration. I wish I could say I planned that, but that was actually just an accident after I got done saying it. Honeysuckle. What is honeysuckle?
It's a leaf that when you suck on it,
It tastes like honey.
Tastes like honey, hence the name honeysuckle. And then we get hawthorn spray, and what's we know what hawthorn spray is from before, which is? It's a type of leaf. If you did not know what hawthorn spray was, then this is the kind of question I'm going to end up putting on our quiz on Friday. What evidence would you have in the poem that would show you what kind of thing it was? So what evidence could you use to figure out if it was a leaf, even if you had no idea? Box?
fresh and green.
Fresh and green would work. Anything else? Joaquin? The fact that you have a caterpillar that is nibbling it, and the fact that it mentions leaves, are all things that I would require to say was evidence that would help point you in the right direction. And who is our speaker in the poem?
The caterpillar.
Our caterpillar has only one hobby he cares about so far, and that one hobby is?
Eating.
Nicely done. The nibbling, num, the nibbling, the eating and stuff like that. And we got to stanza 2, we're going to introduce dangers into caterpillar land. Down beneath grow dandelions, daisies, old man's looking glasses, rooks flap croaking across the lane. I eat and swallow and eat again. And why pronounce that last word as again? Jacob?
Where it can rhyme.
Nicely done. Because we're going to get to rhyme scheme coming up, and so again has to rhyme with lane. If it went in the other order, you'd have to change the pronunciation of lane. If it said I eat and swallow and eat again, rooks flap croaking across the Lynn? I don't know.
Lane.
That's awkward. Yeah. Welcome to poetry. This love awkwardness. Dandelions. What are dandelions?
They're
White flowers.
Close. I mean, they're not really a flower. It's actually more of a weed. I mean, little kids think they're flowers and get all excited until your parents keep spraying them with like killer weed stuff. You're like, why you kill those flowers, Daddy? It's because they turn into these horrible things right there. And that's the exact same type of flower. And so you just pick it up and you go, and it blows everywhere, which makes new dandelions. You're like, I like how these flowers spread. That's because, once again, they're weeds. Speaking of flowers, though, we get to daisies. What type of flower is a daisy?
Oh, yellow daisy.
And on the outside is the...
Flower.
And what color are the petals?
Yellow.
They're the white ones.
Oh, white.
They're the ones where, like, in the cartoons, they're like, he loves me not, he loves me, he loves... And you pluck off the ones that have so many petals around until you get to the, he loves me not, flower's broken. He loves me. And you keep going from there. It's the same idea. And the last one where it says old man's looking glasses, we're not talking about stumbly, clumsy, elderly gentlemen. This is going to be, well, let's back up. If we're saying down beneath are growing dandelions, daisies, old man's looking glasses. That's going to be another example of?
Spectacles.
Alliteration.
No, I like your guessing. Although there's no real alliteration there. We're talking about dandelions, which are a form of,
Flower.
and then we're talking about daisies, which are a form of,
Flower.
we're talking about old man's looking glasses, which are a form of.
Glasses.
I tried helping you out as best I could on that one. Is there a type? Oh, I thought you said they're glad. Yeah, it's a name for them, like the honeysuckle is. Who names these things? I have no idea. Some crazy person. They're like, they're old man's looking glasses. They've never seen old men or glasses. Ooh, our danger that we introduce is a rook. Mr. Brovicast, what's a rook? Good question. The evidence we used from the first stanza. Now let's use it again. What evidence could we find in the poem, well, the stanza, to help us figure out what a rook is, even if you were to have no idea what things happen in the poem to help guide you? Hillary? I think you just call it a guess. What? Flappings. What does that imply? Works for me. Any other? Joaquin?
Can I guess what it is?
Well, where's your evidence first?
Flapping and across the lane.
And so what's your guess?
It's a goose.
Ooh, I can work that. There is one other piece of evidence aside from the flapping that's up there. Dahlia. And then second favorite.
Oh, it's a crow.
Nice done. And so, not me. I'm okay, Mark. And so the croaking. Mr. Brovicast, is it a flying frog? Yes. Those are very common in those which are close. It's also a. No, I forgot my caterpillar. It's also a type of bird. A rook is a type of bird like a crow or a, what do you call those things? Raven. And the croaking is because they don't have pretty singing voices where it doesn't go like la 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 la. They're more of the blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, it's so lovely. Ooh, and why is this a danger in caterpillar land?
Because they eat.
No.
Oh, no.
Caterpillars eat birds?
No, birds.
Yeah, birds eat cows.
Your use of pronouns was confusing. So, if you were a smart caterpillar, and the bird goes flying across the top of you like that, and you don't want to become a bird lunch, what should you do? Go and hide. Our caterpillar, though, does not. Our caterpillar does something else. What does our caterpillar do?
Eat and swallow and eat again.
He shakes his little caterpillar fist up at the sky. He's like, you can't control me. Nom, 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 nom. And he keeps on eating. But our rebellious caterpillar, but wait, there's more. Another danger enters into caterpillar land. Here come raindrops, helter skelter. I munch. Ah!
I knew he was going to
Sorry, I munch and nibble, unregarding. Sorry, I thought you were going to be focusing. I wanted to help you out. Welcome back. I munch and nibble, unregarding. Hawthorn leaves are juicy and firm. I'll mind my business. I'm a good worm. Sorry. He was in his happy place. I had to bring him back. He was in the wrong happy place. First off, let's see. It's in there. Ooh, once again, who is our speaker in the poem? Caterpillar. Our new danger in Caterpillar Town.
Raindrops.
Nicely done. When it says helter skelter is just a phrase that means all crazily all over the place. Like when we go down to lunch, we go down in a line. Because if I were just to open the door and say, food, go get some! You're like, ah! You would go running down the hallway like throwing small children out of your way. That's helter skelter, which is why we don't do that. And so it just means a big rainstorm comes in. Mr. Brovicast, is that a danger because caterpillars are going to melt like witches? No, caterpillars don't melt like witches. And nor are they really going to drown because for the most part, they're on leaves, and leaves are up in trees. And unless you're down in Florida or Texas where you have hurricanes come through, you should be pretty safe. But to help demonstrate, we have a stunt caterpillar. Who feels very safe. Are you wearing your protective outfit? Yes, I am. And then we have our stunt leaf. And so, caterpillar on leaf. When the rain comes, why is this going to be a danger to caterpillar land? Mackenzie?
The raindrops will be heavy on the leaf.
Yeah, sometimes they're already curling down, but when the raindrops hit, it starts forming like a little trampoline. Trampoline, 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 no! And then he falls down to the ground. When our stunt caterpillar hits the ground, one, the fall doesn't kill him. Caterpillars, even like non-stunt caterpillars, whee! He's not dead. He's okay. Are you okay? I'm dead. No, he's okay. You can throw a caterpillar off a building and they're not going to die. Is it because they turn into a butterfly before they hit the ground?
That would be pretty
Yep, that's
dope.
it. It's just because of how they're built. They're going to be fine when they get down there. But when you get down to the ground, then you have to worry about the water and the drowning and other things coming to eat you and stuff like that. Which goes back to our caterpillar. If you are a smart caterpillar, some of you may be as smart as a smart caterpillar, others of you just hopes and dreams. When the rain comes, what should you go do?
Hide.
Run and hide. What does our caterpillar do?
Eat.
He keeps on
Mind
eating.
his own business.
Shakes his little fists up there at the sky. And he's like, nom, 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 nom. You can't control me. And that last line where it says, I'll mind my business, I'm a good worm, it has two meanings to it. It's an allusion, a reference to something. One, if our caterpillar were working at his job at Caterpillar Co., Caterpillar Co., he's trying to become president, work his way up from head manager. Caterpillar Co. is like, we're good at doing one thing, we do one thing well. What's the only thing Caterpillar Co. does? Eat. Right. You need something eaten, we're going to eat it. And he's like, someday I'm going to work my way up because I'll mind my business, I'm going to get promoted. That's one of the meanings. The other meaning is when someone tells you to mind your business, and you're like, hey, what are you talking about at lunch? And they're like, mind your business. Same thing here. All the other caterpillars are running and hiding, and they're like, rain is coming, birds are coming, run and hide. He's like, takes all 50 of his legs. He's like, what ifs? He's like, I'll mind my own business, you mind your business. But you can't work at Caterpillar Co. forever. Someday, you have to step down and retire. And he knows retirement is coming, and it makes him a little sad. Which brings us to stanza 4. When I'm old, tired, melancholy, I'll build a leaf green mausoleum close by here on this lovely spray, and die and dream the ages away. We have two big words. First one is melancholy. Do you know what melancholy means?
Another word for weak.
Joaquin?
Like sad, like boo-hoo.
It is a sadness because of a loss of some kind. Usually it is a feeling that hits you guys around 12:40 every day when you get to 6th period and you're like, oh, I feel like I'm missing something already. I've lost from in my soul. Because you no longer have 5th period to help entertain you. You moved on to 6th period. This makes you feel sad. I understand. That's melancholy. The other big word is mausoleum. And a mausoleum is a thing and not a feeling. Fagan?
Like some kind of house.
It is a kind of house, but not a house you want to go into. Kind of. Different. Christian?
It's a grave.
It is. It is an above-ground burial place. And so oftentimes if you're either really rich, and you're like, I don't want to be buried there, I want to be buried in a house. And in the little cemetery, you'll have an entire house built for yourself. Or in some places like Louisiana, the ground is so swampy you can't dig into it because it just keeps filling back in. So everyone gets buried in these above-ground mausoleums. Some of them are really big, and you can fit like a whole family in there. You open it up, and it's like a weird little shopping center with like just shelves full of, I mean, not like just dead people, but like coffins. And other times it's just big enough for just one person. It just sort of depends on how you want yours to be set up.
That's weird. I'm not
Our caterpillar says that someday he is going to get old, and he's going to build his very own mausoleum on this, when it says lovely spray, what that's referring to?
Right.
What is it called?
Oh, holy water.
Right.
No, what? No, the leaves. So he's referring that he's going to eventually build his own mausoleum on the leaf. Mr. Broviac, that's ridiculous. There's no way a caterpillar could build that. He can't even lift the stones. That's a good point. The caterpillar would have a tough time lifting the stones. That's why it's a metaphor. And he's referring to something else. Because there's something else that he is going to build that is green, that he's going to climb into, and then die and dream all those ages away. And that is?
A cocoon.
A cocoon. Mr. Broviac, caterpillars don't die when they go in cocoons. That's stupid. Congratulations. You're smarter than a caterpillar. I'm so proud of you. But as far as the caterpillar is concerned, he's going to go in there and he's going to die because the caterpillar never comes back out of it. So as far as he knows, he's going to die and dream the ages away. But it turns out there's a rumor in Caterpillar Town. All the other caterpillars keep saying, did you hear what happens after you go into your mausoleum and you die? Something happens to you. He's like, what? And they started spreading these rumors around. Which brings us to stanza 5. Some say worms win resurrection, with white wings beating flitter flutter, but wings or a sound sleep, why should I care? Either way, I'll miss my share. Big word,
Flitter flutter.
resurrection,
Right.
or flitter flutter, which is also big-ish. I was going more for resurrection. You guys know what resurrection means? You know that one?
Coming back from the dead.
Addie? Sorry, we're not even calling you. How off with me? Rylan?
Like, does it come back from the dead?
It does. So to come back from the dead. And so here he's saying that the worms is referring to.
Caterpillars.
Yeah, it's just because apparently the beat of the poem, worms would be caterpillars too long. So some say worms win resurrection with white wings beating flitter flutter. So the rumor is sometimes you die, go into your mausoleum, and then you have There's a term, by the way, when we bury someone in a grave, and then they crawl back out of the grave and then start roaming around on the earth for a while.
Zombies.
Call it zombies.
Zombies.
Oh.
And now he's worried that apparently he's going to come back as a caterpillar zombie. Not only is he going to be a caterpillar zombie, he's a caterpillar zombie with a special power.
Wait, he can fly.
He's going to come back as a flying caterpillar zombie. That is his worry. He's like, I don't want to be a flying caterpillar zombie. Mr. Brovicast, zombies eat brains. Well, technically, flying caterpillar zombies eat brains also, because those of you, the three of you who are smarter than a caterpillar, we know that they're not going to become flying caterpillar zombies. They're instead going to become
Butterflies.
and butterflies don't eat leaves. Do you know what butterflies eat?
Little flower. They drink the flower.
They have the little proboscis on the front, which is like this little spinny thing that comes out, and it plunges into the top of the flower, and it basically sucks out the brains of the flowers. And it pops into the top of the flowers like brains, brains, brains. So essentially, they become flying caterpillar zombies. Our caterpillar doesn't care. He says, either way, I'll miss my share. What is the share? He was trying to help you not lose your pencil, by the way, because I was getting ready to take it. He was trying to be helpful to you. I know, you're like, Kamika's never helpful, but he was trying to be. What is the share he's talking about? The only thing he's in. Joaquin?
Coming back.
No, but good guess.
No, like he'll come back.
That's what he's worried. He said, if I come back as a zombie, I'm not going to get to do the one thing I love. If I'm dead forever, I'm not going to get to do the one thing I love.
Oh.
Which is?
Eat.
Eating what? There you go. Because remember, flying caterpillar zombies, they eat too, but they just eat the brains of flowers. He's like, either way, I'm going to miss eating leaves, which is the only thing I care about. Ooh, and we have 2 examples of alliteration. No.
Wait, resurrection.
4 examples. This thing is
Some
chock
say
full.
worms.
Sunset.
Repeats the S sound. Joaquin.
Worms.
Some say sound sleep, wind, resurrection with white wings, flutter flutter.
Nicely done. Whole bunch of alliteration throughout the whole thing on that one. Our final stanza goes back after learning all of this information. He finishes out with, under this loop of honeysuckle, a hungry, hairy caterpillar, I crawl on my high and swinging seat and eat, 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 as one ought to eat. At the end, who's our speaker? The only thing he cares about after learning all this information is nom, 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 nom. He's like, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm going to keep doing the one thing I know. Don't worry about rumors. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about those things you've heard. Just do the one thing I enjoy, which is eat. Ooh, there's also a really, really bad example of alliteration in here that would cause me to throat punch you if I were to find you trying to use it as an example. What is our throat punch-worthy level of alliteration that's going to be on there? And why is eat, eat, eat such a horrible example?
Because it's a globetrotter.
It's the
Just
same word
repeating
over
the
and
same
over.
one over and over. Especially with 2 other much better examples listed right there.
Hungry Harry.
That's not in the poem. But nom 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 would also be a bad example. Hungry Harry is one,
Hungry Harry.
and swinging seat. Nicely done. Are the 2 that are on there. I had one kid who, instead of putting stuff on his desk, just put it on his lap thinking I wouldn't notice. So I was just taking his points. Mr. Brody, I thought I was smarter than you. Let me know how that worked out for you.
I thought it was only on my desk.
Yeah, I know. You tried to outsmart me. It's always worth fun games, right? That's our poem about the caterpillar. Figuring out about hashtag caterpillar life. What I'm going to introduce you to now, and we're going to hit again tomorrow a bit more, but after I'm introducing is rhyme scheme. Which, the way rhyme scheme works is it's a code that tells you the rhyme words. So in a poem like this one, The Spider, which is not a poem we've read yet, is to tell you to figure out how things rhyme. We had the lane and again. The reason you know those are supposed to rhyme is because of the rhyme scheme of the poem. Here's how we start figuring out rhyme scheme. We're going to assign a letter to each line of the poem. Like a rhyme scheme is like, this is an AABB rhyme scheme, or an ABAB rhyme scheme, or an ABCDE rhyme scheme. That's examples. First line of the poem, you always give it the first letter of the alphabet. What's the first letter of the alphabet?
A.
Right, nice and easy. So eyes, you go to the next line. Does skies rhyme with eyes?
Yes.
If it does, you give it the same letter. Next line. Does blouse rhyme with that?
No.
So you give it the next letter of the alphabet.
D.
Does house rhyme?
Yes.
What letter do you give it?
B.
New stanza, you don't start over. You just keep on going. Goes.
C.
Tomorrow, we'll take another look at rhyme scheme and keep going from there. Well done, those of you who didn't lose points. Take off.